Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Nightly Sports Call.
Thank you very much, Ken. Welcome, everybody, to the Allegheny Health Network Nightly Sports Call. I'm Josh Taylor, in tonight for Bob Pompiani. Got a lot to talk about, especially with this weekend, the way it has unfolded with the Steelers' loss to Jacksonville. Mike Tomlin had his press conference earlier today, talked about a few different things. One thing he was asked about was the game plan and whether or not they probably should have gone a different way in their play calling in the second half, specifically late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter, considering the deficit against Jacksonville. He talked about that. Talked about his confidence in Ben Roethlisberger and Ben Roethlisberger's confidence in himself. If you heard his comments after the game and then heard some of the things he said today on his radio show. So maybe some change of heart in the past 48 hours from the quarterback, and Mike Tomlin talked about that as well. Then, of course, there's the big story that happened today. The Penguins make their visit to the White House to meet with President Trump. And they made it clear once again today. Head coach Mike Sullivan talked about it after the visit. He met with the media. No players were present. It was just Mike Sullivan talking. Granted, the team was there, players, coaches, even the owners, Mario Lemieux and Ron Burkle were present to meet with the president. And even gave him a shout out. He gave a shout out to Ron Burkle and Mario Lemieux. But Mike Sullivan mentioned it afterwards that this was not a political stance with the team. They were there basically out of respect for the office of the president, because it's an honor for the team to be invited to the White House as the reigning Stanley Cup champions, or I should say defending Stanley Cup champions. And that's what you're expected to do, and it's been a tradition for years. So that's what they continue to stand by as far as their particular position is concerned in visiting the White House. I know some people have a lot of thoughts one way or the other about it, but the Penguins continue to try to remain neutral in this particular position. But that is what we're dealing with right now. And of course, there's always a spin that somebody can put on it one way or another. I think Mike Sullivan actually has tried a very, very conscious effort to really remain to the point where this is about this team celebrating their championship and it being about hockey and it being about doing the traditional thing that championship teams do. Because in the end, that is what it's about for each team. They're out there to play to win games. They're winning games to win championships, and they're winning championships for the recognition and the actual, accolades. And to the victor go the spoils and all those different things that come with being in that position. So that is the particular, juxtaposition that the team has put itself in. But they choose to try, at least appear to remain neutral in that visit to the White House. Plenty of other things going on. The NFL season continues to roll on. Steelers heading to Kansas City. The undefeated Kansas City Chiefs is a pretty good team that they are going to face on Sunday, and a team that has a lot of talent that they've built through the draft in the past couple of years. Got a really good young rookie in the backfield that's pretty good. Tyreek Hill, second-year player, he's pretty good. Alex Smith, not regarded by many people as a good quarterback, but he's playing like a really good quarterback. And that defense has been built pretty strong for a couple of years now. They still have some really key pieces, even though Eric Berry is not healthy with that group. But they still got some talent there as well. And Mike Tomlin talked about just how difficult of a task they will have with facing that Kansas City team in Arrowhead, no less, which is one of the toughest places to play in the league. And the history over the years suggests as much. The Steelers' history over the years suggests as much, how hard it is to play games and win there. But that is another thing that that stands here right now that we see here in front of us as far as what is on the docket for the upcoming week. And a little bit of a soccer note got to drop in for U.S. men's national team fans. Probably not a good night for you right now. The final score comes down 2-1. They lose to Trinidad and Tobago, plus wins from Panama, and I believe it's also Honduras that won, that allowed those two teams to knock the U.S. out of qualifying for the 2018 World Cup. So for the first time since 1986, they will not participate. Who knows? Maybe we'll have some soccer questions. We'll take all of them. 412-575-2600 on the Borders and Borders hotline. See you in a few.